with the full matchmaking update coming in the new year. So in terms of timelines for that one, we are looking at a few different spaces where we may roll that out from a strategic perspective, but we're not talking, certainly not talking Q4 or anything like that. We are looking to get this system rolled out and changed. And one repeated note of pain that I see from players on the forums has been about sandbagging in multiplayer and wars, and how imbalanced that can, what imbalanced fights that can lead to. And so part of the new matchmaking update, that was one of the problems that I did a fair amount of research on. I've built matchmaking structures and systems for games before, not for multi-team based games. So started with a lot of research there of hey, what is possible in terms of analyzing alliances and compositions, and ultimately came up with another lens at which we can apply to matchmaking, where we can identify sandbagging alliances. We can identify, and not just the extreme cases of extreme sandbagging, but we can identify basically imbalances within alliance compositions and pair them accordingly. The net result of that is going to be, not that we don't allow you to queue with a alliance that has a severe imbalance in composition, but if you do, you will meet other alliances that are also doing that same strategy to even that playing field. Just an overall mindfulness then of the matches you come up against and the alliances you're going to meet, provided that your alliance also is met with a good amount of the thought as well. Awesome.
Some comments from the chat.
Yeah.
We're finally getting some answers from a stream. Clap, clap, clap. Yeah, I figured you guys would be clapping for a few of those answers. We've had so many questions about matchmaking, sandbagging and such, so it's great that we're able to kind of address it a little bit. Thank you guys for addressing it. Can you please introduce the speaker again for newcomers? We'll introduce ourselves all again one more time. So I'm Ash. I'm one of the community managers at Nexon.
Greg, I'm the Tin Soldier. I'm community manager at Big Huge Games.
And I'm Joe Grubb, the lead designer here at Big Huge.
Yes. Hence the reason he can answer all the hard-hitting questions, which is great. So what we're doing right now, if you're just tuning in now, again, let us know how the levels are. It's tricky with the setup that we have, so if we're sounding too light or games too loud, just let us know and we'll adjust accordingly. We are actually going through some of the questions that were posed on our social channels. Joe was cool enough to do an AMA earlier. I want to say it was Monday of this week. Feels like a million years ago because I've been traveling, but on Monday, where he answered a lot of community questions and concerns, and we're kind of going back over those and addressing some of the ones that you guys are posing now on Twitch TV and on Facebook Live. So we're going to hang out. We also had a question on if we've showed off the World War I remembrance, troop tactics, and such yet. No, we're going to be doing that most likely during the second hour. So we'll actually go through each and every one of them, including ones that we haven't really shown off on our social channels or in the game yet. So we're going to show off, I think, almost all of them.
Well, I think we've got all of them teed up. Some of them you can get now, such as the Harlem Hellfighters and Big Bertha Army with the Thunder of Cannons event, which just went live, started today.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go over all that in the second half.
Yes. And then I see a random Joe Rogan comment.
Oh, all right.
He's not going to be on the stream, although that'd be great. I would love to have Joe Rogan on the stream, but yes. So let's go on. We have so many of these, and we don't have you for a ton of time because, like you said, you have a million meetings all the time. This one is from Dracula3811 on the forums, and Dracula says, I almost did a terrible Dracula accent, but I opted to not do that at the very last.
There's time. There's still time.
No, there's not. People already want to dropkick me. Are there going to be any changes to the nations? Right now, the best nation by far is the Germans. I've been a strong advocate for the French until they got nerfed. So any big nation changes on the horizon?
Horizon, sure. Horizon is that can be a potentially longer timeline than certainly than what we're talking about for leaderboards and matchmaking. Nations are something that started paying recent attention to from a balance perspective. The catch with them is, unlike how I was talking about philosophy around troop balancing and building balancing, swapping nations, swapping those, we have to be aware of what we're doing from a meta perspective there. It would be incorrect for us as a development studio to just include them in all of our sweeping balance changes and the balance changes moving forward, of making a new flavor of the month nation every month that we're asking players to then go pay crowns to swap to. I'm not really interested in trying to correct them from that perspective, so when we do address them, I do want more of a permanent solution that is aiming at making nations viable across the board, possibly based on what strategy you like as a player may direct you toward one nation or the other, but it is on the horizon as a thing I'm starting to think about, but certainly no spot on the release schedule yet.
And that's something that we've addressed that on past streams. We get that question a lot, and a lot of players suggest something like that. So I think, like you said, nothing on the cards, but it's something that's going to perhaps one day be looked at. So
yes.
So there you go. That's a great answer. This one is from the server from the forums. The server from the forums, not an actual. The gentleman's name or female's name is the server. Says, thank you for reaching out, introducing yourself. Glad to hear the 5th stage rebalance has been shelved and potential solutions to the leaderboard and matchmaking problems. The question is, multi-part question, but the second part of the question is, you also commented on what balanced and unbalanced compositions would look like so that I, as an alliance leader, can plan accordingly. What are some balanced and unbalanced compositions?
Yeah, so I talked about this one a little bit. This was one that I responded to on the forums. Gave a pseudo non-answer and then followed it up with a real answer. Part of when we are considering design balance changes or new features to the game, one of the player types that we talk about are what we would classify as the explorers. We've had a number of players in the wake of the rebalance really sink their teeth into that concept of, okay, I need to figure out what the new meta is, what strategies should I be using, and they that exploration time is where they have the most fun. So there's definitely a sense of, we don't want to undermine that player community by saying, hey, yes, go with this composition and you will forever win. But it would also be naive of us to say that we have very finely tuned constructed the meta in ways that we don't expect the players to change from. We as designers and developers can only put so many hours into our own playtesting, and given the number, players will have put more hours into it in their first week.
Right. I mean, it's insane.
Than we've done in our entire
so many more players.
But part of our job is also being able to have pretty good intuition when it comes to those things. So I believe the information I gave in the forum post was one thing that we found to be pretty fun internally was really using your heavy tanks as a strong front line. So like bringing heavy tanks, bringing the new upgraded machine gunners to protect them, and taking advantage of the first aid war tactic as a way to take advantage of the heavy tanks increased health pool, and that having that sort of front line that's able to just not die and just plow through the enemy base is a lot of fun to orchestrate, and we've been seeing success with it.
Sir Loiney says, you mentioned machine guns, but their range is still too short. Armored cars work better, but don't tell anyone else.
Case in point of players will explore and find their own strategies, and that's great. That's sort of what we want to see. We are giving building blocks and for army compositions, and players are certainly finding what works for them.
That's awesome. This one's from Litany of Fire on forums. It says, is the team looking at any plans to extend or change the battle timer?
There's nothing on the books right now, so that one's somewhat of a shorter answer. Currently, no, but that, like anything else, battle timer is pretty easy for us to modify if we find a need to do it. One of the challenges in the rebalanced world is that concept of trying to play very safe on your attack versus trying to complete the battle on time, and those are always going back and forth against each other. And so we do think that the current timer right now gives a good balance of you do need to take some risk. You do need to think quickly, but that you still have the tools you need to complete battle. But it's something that we will absolutely keep an eye on, and if we find reason to need to change it, then we certainly will.
This is from Mr. Lax on the forums, and he says, how much hidden information is acceptable when attacking a base?
Yeah, this was a great question. One I may have seeded to players. So hidden information is one of those concepts that DomiNations both does well and could improve on. Traps, for example, are a really good example of hidden information done well in DomiNations. As an attacker, you can't see them, you don't know where they are, but you roughly know how many they have, and you know what kinds they are. So you know that they exist, but you don't know how they've been placed. And then, if one surprises you, a well-placed trap, catches your commandos, and you get that immediate in-game feedback, and you know why, how you got bested there.
Right.
And so that kind of hidden information is definitely adds to the fun element and engagement of combat. There's other parts that we could certainly improve on, the museum being one of them, and the benefits and bonuses it provides. Joining a battle that against a base composition that looks similar to the one you just previously beat, and losing that one without a lot of indication as to what was different is less fun of an experience for the player. So certainly something that we are trying to be more mindful of. And there's other areas. I think my stronghold question got quite a few responses on the forums. Some players even there of like, no, it's part of your strategy and skill to be able to react to the stronghold. One of the questions I posed was, would it be valuable to know how many troop tactics are hidden? And that's an area where we can definitely play with hidden information. We can give you some information. We could give you all of the information. Whether like the quality of the troop tactic it's containing will certainly play into your decision making. But that's an area where if we can set you up for understanding, hey, something's going to happen here, now you have to be able to deal with the outcome. That's
Right.
very different from something may or may not happen at all.
Yeah. I see lots of suggestions and obviously tons of comments in the chat. And Scout's Honor, all of this is archived. So the Twitch chat is archived, and we go through and pull out great questions and comments and concerns and make a list of them and make note of them.
It's one of the great things about surfacing some of these things as well, is you get somebody who says, oh, wonders is an issue, and I think we should talk more about wonders, and somebody else says, oh, defense is something we should talk about, or army composition, or like I think everybody's got their little passion project, and I think Joe's going to do a great job at looking at everything and trying to make sure that it all remains fun,
Right.
and all works together as a large system.
Scout's Honor.
I know that. Well, the other thing is, one of the other questions that we got from time to time is, why did we do the rebalance in so many stages? And it just would have been, in my opinion, would have been too many switches to throw all at once. We would have had no idea what works or what didn't work, and would have been total chaos to give you overnight to be like, here, everything is now different.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of a planned change bump from step to step to step. But
Yeah, I mean, I think, that's a really good point, and also just, want to reiterate, I said it earlier, and I don't know if people took me seriously, but all of the comments and all the concerns that you guys make, we scoop them up from all the different social channels. That's what we do, and then we feed them back to the team, and we all talk about them, and some of the reasons why some of these changes are happening are things that you guys have suggested and you guys have said. So we do very much appreciate it, even though it may sound sometimes or feel sometimes like you're shouting off into a void. You are being heard, and we do take it seriously, so we appreciate it. So this is the last one, because I know you have to get out of here.
Sure.
And it's a big one. You could take 2 hours to answer this. Where will DomiNations be in 2 years?
So I'll give the abridged version then. Definitely, we will have entered the space age. Probably prepping for the next stage beyond that. One of the things I highlighted in my introduction post was that there is coming a point where we may need to slow down in terms of age release. It may not make sense to do one every year. Maybe we start shifting into a year and a half or so. So we'll definitely be in the space age. internally be very much underway for the age after that.
What's the age at? Because you know it's going to get
right. In terms of the state of the game itself, by that point, this rebalance being an initial step toward us taking balance in the game more seriously from a tuning perspective. So at that point, players should certainly be comfortable with a world where we're making routine updates, we're addressing concerns, we're addressing issues, and those are just part of the patch cycle. Also, as I mentioned earlier, one of my jobs here is looking at what our next big bets are, what our next big features are going to be. So part of that's going to be looking at some of the existing features in the game and seeing where we can make improvements, and then looking at what's the new big shiny thing coming alongside Space Age, and even beyond. So a lot of great expansions to the current game. Certainly balance and alliance competition being something that is more at the forefront. Given the players' complaints, around the leaderboards, and they've just kind of been there.
Right.
Within, especially by the time we're 2 years out, we will have been able to iterate a lot on this system that we are just now starting to improve, and sort of looking forward to what World Wars will look like in 2 years. Exciting stuff.
So, community, my job to you is, if you like hearing from Joe and you like the AMA he did, let us know. Let us know on the social channels, and that may be something we can replicate in the future should time permit. I know it's a big time sink.
I'll take a look at Heavy Tank speed for you.
yeah. And of course, we'll look at all the responses here as well. But do you have any? Do you want us to plug your social media, or you just want to?
I'm like, me jumping into the forums was an initial introduction. I plan to come back and show up on posts from time to time. I know I had a point where I scheduled time to respond to replies, and haven't added additional responses later, but I've been reading everything that comes through, and will continue to do what's my MySpace. And we'll certainly can continue doing so.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. We appreciate you coming.
Awesome.
I know you have lots of work to do.
Yes.
Thanks for coming by. Everybody, keep your eye on the social channels, obviously, for Joe, and go to the forums, read his post. We're going to tag some more folks in here in just a second. I'm going to mute the mic because otherwise you're going to hear chairs screeching around and nobody wants to hear that. So let me mute the mic for one. Hey, we're back from the non-break. We've all agreed to use louder voices. So that was awesome of Joe. He had a limited time because he's obviously working on a lot. I do encourage you guys to head to the forums and read his post. I already said that already. I'm going to go ahead and splash that up here real quick. And in the future, if you like, if you like posts like that, the one that Joe gave on the forums with tons of information where you can sort of ask questions, there might be something we can replicate. If we find that you guys like it a whole lot, then we'll go on and try and do more of those. And I think that would be pretty awesome. So I see lots of comments here. So we have some new guests.
Yay!
All right, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? I'll get out of the way here.
Sure. I'm Amanda. I do quality assurance for DomiNations every day.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm Sean Mason. I'm a game designer on DomiNations.
Awesome. All right. So what we're going to do, just so you guys are tuning in, we're going to have these guys on. We're going to talk a little bit about what they do. Then we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to come back and show off all of our World War I remembrance stuff. So we have tons of units, troop tactics, all sorts of insane, cool stuff that we haven't shown off before on stream. So after the break, we'll show off all of that.
Lots of release stuff as well, stuff that pertain to the Remembering the Great War release.
Right,
overall.
right. So let's see. see if there's any questions I can field real quick before we get started. Let's go ahead and start with Amanda.
Sure.
You were gonna be on this stream a couple times.
I was.
And then some assurance had to be qualitied.
Yes, we had to make sure that everything was
Yeah.
qualitily assured.
Quality. So let's tell us a little bit about your background and sort of how
Yeah.
you got to come to work here and such.
It was actually, my story is one of the more boring how I got into game design stories that we were talking about. But I grew up around Maryland, and I went to college not knowing what I wanted to do, and so I became an art major because that looked the most open-ended. And I realized through doing that I really loved making games. And since I was from around here and have family in Baltimore, they were like, oh, there's this really great company that's in Baltimore called Big Huge Games, and you should apply there. And so I applied for an internship last year and got it in quality assurance, and then liked it, and they liked me back, so I got to come back and work full time.
That's a great. The fact that you guys at Big Huge Games offer internships is pretty fantastic. It's something we've talked about before on the stream.
Yeah.
A lot of studios don't do that, so it's really cool that Big Huge does.
Yeah.
I saw a real question pop up regarding the turkeys. Is there anything you can comment on?
You will have to keep your eyes peeled for the turkey blessing sometime next week.
For the turkey blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can hear the gobble gobble yourselves. So let's talk about what a lot of people don't really get what QA does. We're going to talk a little bit about QA and sort of what your duties entail, and also why you had to miss those last streams. Not specifically, but why your job is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Is there anything in particular you want to know, or just?
So let's say you come in and just like your morning. What does your morning consist of? Like, because you're in a room full of a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
How do you guys divvy up the workload and sort of how do you troubleshoot?
All right. Well, I get in really early, so I get to do all the tasks that are prepping for everyone else to come in and do work. And then once we're all here, we're all put on like our different sprint teams with all the rest of the designers and engineers, and we keep our team and all of quality assurance updated on how all the new features and all the new content is going and where it's at in terms of it being ready to be implemented. And then we make our test passes, and once designers and engineers sign off on saying this is good to go now and it's totally perfect and we don't even know why we're giving it to you because it's so great, then we test it and find anything weird about how it interacts with other stuff and send it back to them, and then do that back and forth until it's actually good to go. Actually perfect. It's always good. But
Good stuff. Hold on, let me just do one quick check here.
yeah.
Volume is good now? Thanks. Okay.
Nice.
These are giving me a coronary. I heard someone say they couldn't hear anything. I'm like, have I been talking to no one for the past 5 minutes? Because I know I moved some levels around. So thank you. I appreciate it.
It works for the old-timey feel.
Yes, it works for the old-timey feel.
Just
No
wait for the
sounds at
20
all.
minutes where it's just going to be a wall of text. You have to read everything that we just said.
Yeah.
In terms of what challenges you face, some of the hardest things that you have to do, like what's the hardest aspect of your job?
I think the hardest aspect of the job is thinking of all the ways we could mess with a new feature before we actually start testing it, because we have to write out our test cases with how we want to go through the feature and make sure that it's good to go. And since DomiNations has it's like such a deep game and has so many different bonuses and buffs and blessings that you can get, we have to always keep in mind, like, if this new troop tactic does this thing, then how is that going to interact with all the different wonder powers and all the different museum artifacts that you could have and all of that.
Yeah, it's something we talked about a bit when we did the museum stream and revolving around the museum, is like all the different combinations and how hard that was to test, and just the game in general has so many different systems.
Yeah.
And so many different features. I would imagine it's a very hard game to QA for. You know, it's like there's a lot of different levels and layers to it. So it's a hard job. It really is.
Yeah.
So do you have any big wins or triumphs, or like let's say your proudest moment as a dev? What would that be?
Oh man, can I talk about things I found that aren't in the game because they got fixed?
I don't know.
Those are some of what makes me happy. Is when I find something weird.
What did you prevent from going out the door?
There was this one bug where if a user had a villa and then switched between being China and not being China, their citizen count would just keep going up and up and up until they hard reset. But they could use those citizens and they'd still be working, and the game functioned fine. But you could have 200 citizens at once, and that was a lot of fun to see if I could actually make it just
They're trying that right now, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. You fix it.
Right, and so part of it is thinking about all those edge cases and all the ways, like when we do introduce more citizens, like how do we make sure that it's not completely exploited, or that doesn't completely then fall to CS to go in and fix everybody's accounts individually. Yeah, so it's a whole team effort up and down the ladder.
Maggie says, maybe bring that bug back? Maybe not. And so the last question I love to ask developers, what advice do you have for someone that may want to go into QA or into dev in general?
I think be really good at communicating is something that I think is invaluable to anyone who wants, like team settings in general, but especially for quality assurance, because you have to make sure that you're writing all your bugs with steps that are easy for the devs to follow, because if you just put down, this thing breaks like this, and then the engineer has to figure out exactly how to make that happen, that just takes even more time than if you can say, like, here are the 10 exact steps you need in order to find what's wrong.
Right. TCE Jorptical says, wish the stream wasn't laggy for me at work. There's good news and bad news. Well, the bad news is lag is likely on your end, because everything looks like it's fine on our end. But the good news is as soon as the stream's over, it's available in its entirety on Facebook Live, and then it'll be available on Twitch really soon after that, so you can watch it there, and then it'll be available on YouTube likely tomorrow. So there's lots of different places you can go back and watch it if you're experiencing any sort of latency issues or lag or what have you. We are in the middle of like a weird snow thing, so it could be that. I don't know. It's a miracle we're here at all.
I know.
I don't know if we're getting home. We may have a slumber party.
I woke up this morning and it looked fine, so I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. I bet they just closed schools as a precaution. And then as soon as I got into work, it was snowing, and I was like, oh. Yeah.
I may be calling my family and being like, I'm not coming home anytime soon. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And you're welcome to come back and hang out with us anytime. Yeah. Sean.
What's up?
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So what do you do here?
I am a game designer, and basically that means a lot of different things. I work on content, systems, UX, UI, and writing historical text primarily. That's
exciting. So you get to do all the fun research and dig into all the stuff, and that's really fun. Are there any, we didn't talk about this, so I'm just going to put you on the spot. Are there any things that you were particularly fond of finding out and adding to the game, like any particular units or things that you were just so glad you were able to get in there?
Absolutely. Miyamoto Musashi is one of my favorite historical figures.
Oh, awesome.
And when I joined the team, I had the opportunity to design a general, Miyamoto Musashi, who's just absolutely so much fun. He's one of the best duelists in the game. If you guys haven't tried him out yet, if you had the opportunity, do so.
He was a Summer for the Ages?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when he came out for the Summer, I was like, ooh, he's super cool. So Musashi, huh? He was great. Any others? Any others that pop into your mind?
Gosh, Ferdinand Foch for the World War I event is going to be a lot of fun. He definitely provides something that's novel to the game with his new aura mechanic. He will buff the damage of troops that are nearby and will really allow you guys to push through heavy defenses. I'm really excited for that one.
Very cool. So we get lots of questions regarding new features and things like the rebalance in the museum. So what were some of the challenges? We'll start with the museum and then we'll switch over to the rebalance. But what were some of the challenges that you faced when designing new features like the museum? Like, so what was difficult about it?
The most challenging thing about the museum was that it's such a large system. I worked on the Fatui for that, and delivering a Fatui that clearly communicates.
Some people might not know what Fatui is.
That's a good question.
So yeah, so if you know what Fatui is, say it in chat. But what is Fatui?
Sure. So sort of the first time user experience.
Right.
So your experience with Pompous sort of guiding you through the museum and that system as a whole. It's such a large system. developing sort of the first time user experience or something like that can be very challenging because there's so many little details that we could cover, but we also want to be concise enough that you guys can jump in and start having fun with it. So I'd say that's probably one of the biggest challenges I've had so far working on features here.
So obviously the rebalance, we get questions about the rebalance all the time. Rebalance has been put on hold. More information about that in the future. But what was some of the challenge with the rebalance specifically? So
one thing that I feel is really challenging about the rebalance is that we want to provide the most fun, awesome experience for you guys. But that also means that we have to change some things that you guys may have liked before or were used to. So we have to be very careful about that, and we do a lot of play testing, we have a lot of discussions, and we think very deeply about how we can improve the health of the game, and provide a gameplay experience that sort of promotes interesting decision making. So we want you guys to be theory crafting, and we want various arming compositions to be viable, so that there always isn't just one best choice when you're approaching combat.
And that's one of the things that we touched on in a prior stream as well, is since the game is always changing and is an iterative process. I can never say that word. It's an iterative process. Players are very used to playing a certain way, and with these changes, it was jarring for a lot of players. And it's something we're aware of. I promise you, we are reading social channels. We're reading all your posts. We it's very important to us. And it's something that's going to be, and we continue to be looked at over the lifespan of the game. It's just something that's going to be happening. So I want to know about a little bit about your advice for people that actually want to get into design. So how did you get here? And,
Sure.
and then how do people follow in your footsteps?
Sure.
Because honestly, like a lot of people, the ultimate dream for a lot of video game people is to make a video game. And video games are made by hundreds and hundreds of people. They all do different things.
Yep.
It's very collaborative. But you have the job, I think, that a lot of people really want, where you get to be like, oh, this is the unit and that I want to do this. And then you talk with other people and that happens. So how did you get there, and how do other people get there?
Sure, that's a really long story. I'll try to give you guys a concise version of that. But basically, at a young age, I decided that the game industry was something I wanted to join. I loved playing games like Final Fantasy X, Warcraft 3, Chrono Trigger, and I
all great games.
I loved music and film, and I felt like games sort of combined all of these different types of media into sort of one form.
Absolutely.
From there, I decided I wanted to go to college to study game design. So I went to George Mason University in DC. Studied game design there. I did several internships. I then ended up working for a company called Planet 3, which is a partner with National Geographic. After spending about a year there, I met Tim Train, and I ended up joining Big Huge Games as a game designer.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's very cool. That's very cool. Advice you have any advice for other people that might want to get into game design? Because we said already on the stream once, I'm going to repeat myself because that's what I do. Nobody has the same story. Some people start out as an intern. Some people go to school for it and get lucky and do it. You did theater. I was a teacher. Everybody I talk to has a different background with games. So if that's something that you in the audience, or if you're watching this later, you're interested in, you can definitely do it. There's nothing stopping you. You just have to, go for it and really, really be passionate about it, and you can end up doing something that you love, and also be okay at some stuff.
Absolutely.
You have to be. You're not just going to give you a job because you're cool. You gotta be okay at some stuff too. So
some of my biggest advice would be, if you want to be a game designer, you should play games, but don't just play them, analyze them. Think about what could be better, and think about what's fun about those games. Also, there's a lot of books on game design that are out there, like The Art of Game Design, A Book of Lenses, and A Theory of Fun, that are really going to help teach you some of the fundamentals of game design. And then also, most importantly, make games, whether it's digital or it's analog. Make games. If you can't code, you can make board games. Having knowledge of other disciplines like art and engineering, and even QA and production are also going to help you, because you, as a designer, you're communicating with all of those teams on a regular basis, and you need to understand their work.
When you say play games, that's something that we even do at this office. You look at them almost like book reports, sort of, where you play a game and you study it, and then you share your findings with the rest of the team, and that can sort of help inform you as a better designer.
Absolutely.
And so I thought that was something really special that Big Huge has done since I joined the team and noticed that. So
I see Joel Fitzpatrick is in the Facebook comments. He comments on literally every Facebook post. So hi, Joel. It's good to see you. Good stuff. I'm seeing lots of familiar names and lots of familiar handles here, so it's really cool. So we're going to wrap things up for this first little block here, and we're going to be back and we're going to show off all sorts of community stuff. We're going to also look at all of the World War I remembrance units and some things coming up, maybe some hints and teases of what's coming up in the future.
I think we can do that.
Yeah, a little bit of teases. But thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Thanks for
And
having
me.
again, of course, you're welcome to come hang out anytime. You know, come see us. Just drop by when we're streaming, flip a desk, do whatever you want. Really quick, I'll do a little quick social plug. And I said this once or twice already, but please give us a follow on our social channels. We have Play DomiNations on Twitter and Play DomiNations on Facebook. Say hi to us there. Like I said, we usually put up information about upcoming events and upcoming sales pretty early, sometimes even more than 48 hours in advance, so you can know what's coming, kind of plan out your strategy with your building. Of course, we have our forums. We have a great new, some great new posts there for you guys to check out with lots of information about the game. So head to our forums and learn a little bit more. All right. So we'll take a quick break now. We'll be gone for about 4 or 5 minutes just to get some water. Then we'll be back and we'll talk about the patch notes. We'll talk about World War I remembrance stuff, and we'll show off a lot of in-game action. So we'll be right back.
To the bone, never call me play. I hustle every muscle, commitment lives inside these veins. Don't understand my mind, I don't expect you to. I won't apologize for everything I've had to do. I'll bring the power, it's here to stay. Bring all the badness without a shame. Just climb the mountain and make it rain. I bring the heat, I rule the game. I'll bring the power, it's here to stay.
Hey guys, we are back. How's everybody doing? Did a quick break, shifted some seats around. So this second hour we're going to be talking about the latest patch, and we're also going to be looking at the World War I Remembrance content in depth. So we'll kind of get a look at all these units, some of which you probably haven't had a chance to see in action yet, which will be super fun. And of course, we'll also be looking at a bunch of community stuff, which is great, community-based submissions, as well as some ongoing community events and some cool stuff the community is doing. So we'll look at that as well, and also answer what questions we can in chat. Like we said, if we don't answer your questions now, there are going to be opportunities in the future for you to ask questions on the social channels. And here are those social channels.
Yeah.
We do look at them all the time. We check them every single day. So Twitter, we have Play Dominations, Facebook, Play Dominations, and of course our forums and our rally point. But we've already plugged it, so we don't have to do it again.
Excellent.
So let's go ahead and move on and show off some really cool stuff. By the way, my name's Ash. I'm one of the community managers at Nexon.
I'm Greg. You might know me as Tin Soldier. I'm a community manager here at Big Huge Games.
There you go. So what are we looking at first, man?
I'm going to start in the Stronghold, because Sean had mentioned Ferdinand Foch, and he is going to be one of the new units. He had mentioned some neat stuff in that aura damage bonus. You might have seen it in some of the battles we had previously. You can see it as a purple indicator bar on all the troops that are around him. It's a plus 10% damage, and it's got a pretty wide range, so that's actually quite good. Increases the damage of allied troops, deals extra damage to enemy generals. And, as Sean had mentioned as well, writes all the history text. So, if you're interested in a deep dive in World War I history, each one of these units has got some fully researched information about the generals, about the weapons, about the units as well used in the Great War.
I think it's, and I say this on the streams all the time, but it's awesome how much history you can learn from the game. And even as someone who used to teach history, when I play the game, I was like, oh, I did not know that. And that happens to me all the time. I love, when I was first studying about World War I a long time ago, I loved hearing the stories of the early days of the war and how quickly people thought the war was going to be over and how quickly tactics changed. There's all these stories about the French, in their blue uniforms, all spit shined, and then all of a sudden there's machine guns, and then everything is different, and everyone reacts differently. Really shocking, and we'll talk a little bit more about history, I think, later on. For you history nerds, we'll dive into that a little bit. But so here's Ferdinand Foch.
Yep. So we'll add him to our army. We're also going to add the Harlem Hellfighters. They are available now in the Thunder of Cannons event. They were a U.S.-based group, and they're good shooters. So they are target enemy foot troops. They're vulnerable to cavalry. They've got high mobility, high attack speed, and deal 4-time damage versus defenders. So, as you know, that the Thunder of Cannons challenge is to destroy defenders, so as soon as you get this first one unlocked, you might want to bring those into battle, at least the first troop tactic right away,
right.
And then you can help yourself progress through the battle there. So
and in the final stage, you end up unlocking Big Bertha, correct?
That's right. So let's do 2 of these guys, and then we'll clear 1 more space, actually. We have the Night Witches still. Get rid of those guys, and then let's get Big Bertha. We'll get to recent. Yeah, you might have seen me play with Big Bertha before. Let's find a little bit more about Big Bertha. We can either look at there, or, as you've noticed, the Thunder of Cannon. I want to go back to this art, because this art is so good.
I love it.
For all of the splashes, all the art is so good. It's one of my favorite things, share on social, because you only get a small snippet as you see it in game, but on the social channels we get to blow it up and show it a real size, and yeah, it's some fantastic stuff. They even did this as the motion graphic, right? As we saw before, he's got his arm raised and the cannon fires and all the other.
I'm gonna go ahead and play it while we're talking.
Awesome.
Because it's short. Why not?
Yeah.
I'll just show off again.
Boom. Yeah.
Really cool. Thunder of Cannons. Yeah. So this is the event going on right now. It's pretty awesome. And Big Bertha, I think it was named after the heiress to one of Germany's main arms manufacturers at the time. So she was the young heiress to this, Bertha Krupp. There you go.
There you go. Absolutely.
My memory is all hazy from those old teaching days, but I still remember some stuff.
Right. Well, it's nice to back it up. It's like, you have that inkling of history. You're like, oh, I remember some of this, and then you re-encounter it here, and you're like, oh yeah, these are all the details, and this is like, yeah. The more you read into it, the more you dig into it, the more it pieces together in your own memory.
Well, I think the thing that's always fantastic about the game and in history in general is there's so many tiny little stories that all sound like they have to be fiction, because how could anything like that ever happen?
Yeah.
And World War One in general is just, it's a series of those insane stories, and it's a miracle that anybody survived the conflict to ever tell them, because it was so brutal and so crazy. So
Right.
Really, really interesting stuff. And of course, cannons like Big Bertha were terrifying. And I think I read, when I was looking through some information about World War One a few weeks back, there were some cannons that were designed that could shoot like over 70 miles. Oh, wow. And they shot, I mean, this is World War One cannons. They shot so far that you couldn't actually hear the cannon blast. And so the shells would land, and the folks getting shelled had no idea where the shells were coming from.
Wow.
They thought they were being dropped by dirigibles because they couldn't hear the cannon blasts, because they could shoot from such a far range, which has got to just be terrifying. So.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we can take these guys. Let's go into battle against this base that we've been looking at for a little while. Even the base that we've played at, we've named after Sergeant York, which is one of the... he was an American during the war. Alvin was his first name, right? Alvin
I believe
York?
so, yeah.
And he was... Yeah, his exploits were super over the top, like single-handedly capturing whole nests of guys and all this, it'll be the same way in a couple of generations of like, why do we call a bug a bug? It was like, oh, because they found an actual moth in a computer. Like, tell that to a kid or a younger person, like, oh, you found a bug, like a full-size moth inside the computer. That seems like fantasy as well. So we sort of got these fairy tales about the way things actually happened.
We have a question. Was Alvin a chipmunk by any chance?
I don't believe so.
Likely not a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Likely not a chipmunk.
All right, so let's start. We'll put down the Harlem Hellfighters here and here, and we'll follow that up with the Big Bertha. We can see that you've got that range, as we were saying.
Yeah, let's zoom into that Big Bertha. Yeah.
Arc it all the way down, and we're actually going to drop Foch as well. We learned the correct pronunciation. That was something that is also interesting.
We had some comments on that. As soon as he said Foch's name, it was like, oh, that's how you say it. And I was like, can you say it the right way? I was like, I know what they're trying to get us to say.
Yeah.
They're trying to get us to say the bad words.
Right. So, yeah, this purple benefit shows that they have that 10% bonus to attack as well, and you can see that light haze of where the total area of effect is. So that's a pretty huge area of effect.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
And he's a general himself, so he obviously starts out additionally buffed. We might ever encounter the generals over here, because he'll do extra damage against these enemy generals.
Oh, that range on Big Bertha is impressive.
Yeah, we can shut those down for a little bit. And well, here come our supply carts. Helping us out, giving us some health. Yeah, I couldn't time that better.
Ooh, lots of ambush traps.
Yeah, but we'll get decoys on that, and we'll be able to hopefully deal some damage over here. And we can also send in our planes, which is a huge thing in the Great War. Was the introduction of planes in combat.
There's all sorts of just insane stories of aerial combat in the First World War, where they would just drop buckets full of railroad spikes in the trenches and rocks, and just because ammo was always scarce, and the pilots would have to get really creative with what they did to hurt each other. So just crazy stuff. Turd Ferguson says, you pronounce it as a sh sound. We believe so. Yeah. We try. I'll tell you, the hardest thing about being a world history teacher was trying your hardest to pronounce things the right way. Because you didn't, and since you were teaching world history and you taught literally about, every civilization out there, it was a constant research and constant going on Google and playing sounds to make sure you get the pronunciation right. It's really, really hard. Guys, can you read the questions and notes here? Yes, absolutely. So one of the things, like I said, we did earlier when Joe was on, we really do go back and look at Twitch chat, and we look at everything posed on the social channels as well. One of the things I do, and One of the hardest things to pronounce. I'll get to that one in a second. But yeah, we do read everything, I promise. And one of the things I do every week is I gather up a bunch of community questions and comments and concerns, and I scoop them up all together and I show them to the team. So really, that is something that happens. And so I appreciate, all the questions and comments. The best way to do it, honestly, constructive criticism is awesome. Like if you have a concern or a comment, say I don't you don't even have to say it nicely, but just be articulate about things that you want to see changed or things that you like and things that you don't like. I will scoop that up. Like I tend to avoid like not nice stuff in life, so that's it. So the hardest thing to pronounce. What was the hardest thing to pronounce? There was one of the Mongols. I want to say it was Genghis Khan's aunt, maybe niece, aunt. I don't remember where she was in his bloodline now. I think it might have been Kublai Khan's aunt. But anyway, it's Sorhagtani Beki is the name of this Mongol. She was a Mongol warrior and helped raise Kublai Khan, if my memory serves. Again, it's been many, many years. But Sorhagtani Beki was a really hard one, because if you look at how Sorhagtani Beki is spelled on paper, it's spelled in a different sort of way than what I'm used to reading. So
I struggled with this one.
Ah, yes. We struggled with that one last time. Yeah.
Arbalastier. Is that it? That was it.
Arbalastier.
Yeah.
Arbalastier.
Yeah, don't read it. Just think about it. Just say it like you hear it.
So what are we looking at now?
So,
I started going ranting into history.
No, that's cool. That's part of the fun. We are going to look at... We talked about aerial aces like a little bit. So the new one that we have is Captain Rickenbacker. He was an American pilot. Was our World War I ace. And to be an ace, I guess depended from one country to the next, but generally is a minimum of 5 kills to be an ace pilot. 5 confirmed kills. And Eddie Rickenbacker had 26 aerial victories throughout his career. So
he's one of the few of these guys that, if memory serves, lived a pretty long life. I was just reading about Red Baron the other day, and Red Baron didn't make it through the war, but he had famously on his last mission, because he didn't make it, he was shot through the lungs and through the heart and still managed to land his plane. So the Red Baron's plane was intact, and then all these relic hunters got together and broke up his plane and sold the different parts away, so there was no intact Red Baron plane, which there should have been, because he didn't even crash it when he got shot through the heart,
right?
Which is crazy. But again, like we were saying, history is just so filled with these amazing stories that when you see them on paper, you're like, how did anyone ever live through this, or how did that ever really happen? But it did. So
yeah, so we can take these guys into battle. Actually, let's swap out all of our tactics as well. We've got other generals. We have got Pershing. But we can look at Pershing real quick. General of the armies rides into combat with his Enfield rifle, summoning brave range infantrymen to fight by his side. General Joseph Pershing, United States officer during World War I. So we'll add Pershing as well. And I think we've got a couple of special things planned for Pershing as well in the museum and a couple other places. So yeah, make sure you read the patch notes. Make sure you read all over the place. We've tried to sprinkle a lot of the hints on what the rest of the World War I stuff is. You can expect to see throughout the month. So yeah, this is a quick hint. So we'll add Pershing. Keeping Bertha.
Martin Max King, thank you for following us. We appreciate it.
Awesome. And do you have a tank preference? Do you want the Whippets or the A7Vs?
Let's do the A7Vs.
Okay, so we'll swap those out for Big Bertha.
I would say that this would probably be the worst job in the First World War.
What,
is being
tank?
in a tank.
Yeah.
Just from everything I've ever read about it, it was cramped. It wasn't really designed really to have people in it. It was impossibly hot inside. You couldn't really see. You couldn't really breathe. You're more or less suffocating. You were the target crossing no man's land. Everything was aiming at you.
One of the neat things is we have that as a artifact, the tank masks. The British had a specific mask that was designed to cover your face, so that way nothing like ricocheted off and hit you and actually covered your mouth. Apparently they were also hot as well to wear, so they were more worn around the neck, but they were such a status symbol for bravery and for valor for these guys. So they're more excited to wear them almost around their neck than anything else. All right, so let's take these guys
Pretty crazy.
into the battle. Yeah.
So I'll say this: anytime there's questions that are being posed that can't be answered, it's because a lot of times there are things going on behind the scenes. There's things in the works, and the game is currently being developed and changed. So there's a lot of things that we can't answer because changes are being made, or changes may not being made. But it's just something that we're not able to discuss right now. So don't try and think we're skirting things, because we're not. We want to answer as much as we can, and we think if you missed the first I think hour, we answered a ton of questions, really hard-hitting community questions as well, and there's more answers to those on the forums, and there'll be more in the future, so we appreciate it.
Nice. All right, so we've got some of our main army there started. Let's distract those guys for a little while. Let's send in the A7Vs and Pershing together. Alright, so the A7V wallops quite a punch. I think it moves a little slower. Pershing, again, is a general as well, so he comes with that those additional bonuses. We can provide some plain support for them. We've got Eddie Rickenbacker, and we added the Red Baron. We've had the Red Baron in the game for a little while now, but the fun part about human history is we get to pull it back all
That's
in.
right.
That's sort of why as well we're playing at an industrial age base. It's because we felt that's really the World War I era, so we wanted to have that whole look and feel, and we're in black and white. I don't know if you noticed, but yeah. Part of the fun.
I think they noticed.
Yeah. So, alright, look at them there, taking that out.
We're doing quite well.
Alright, so as you just noticed, the tank got destroyed, and it put out all of the guys from the tank. So if you wind up in a good spot, if you're just fighting defenders with that, unfortunately we were hit with the mortar there, but if you're fighting against single defenders, it'll take out the tank will explode, and then it'll deploy a whole bunch of foot soldiers as well, so that way you're not totally flat-footed, as it were.
I love that mechanic. I almost feel like we have to show that off again.
Yeah.
Because I think that is such a cool mechanic.
Yeah. Well, that's the difficult part, is I'm talking to you and I'm looking at this and I'm trying to touch the screen. So.
So I got a question from Quail Sheepdog.
Yes.
What hard-hitting questions got answered earlier? And I'll quickly, just while you're playing through. So we talked about barrack troops. We talked about strength of war bases. We talked about leaderboard and matchmaking. We talked about nation changes. We talked about rebalance. We talked about extending battle timers. And we talked about a bunch of other stuff. So I encourage you, all this stuff is going to be available soon after this stream is over on Facebook Live and on Twitch TV. And then it'll likely be available on YouTube tomorrow. If I can get home through the snowstorm. Hooky U says, if it's such a cool mechanic, add to the fort with a lot of exclamation points. Yeah, I honestly always suggest stuff like that. It cannot hurt. The worst thing that can happen is it can't happen. And the best thing that can happen is that it can. So always suggest stuff. Did you already answer how many more rebalanced updates are planned? So what can we say about that?
We are through. We are completed with the rebalance. We had originally designed it for 5 stages. We got to 4, and we hit the goals of highlighting some of the units that were less used. And at this point, the balance is not set for the game. As Joe pointed out earlier, we're going to continue to change mechanics and make sure the game feels alive and is as fun to play as possible as we continue to add new things. Some of these balance changes were because the game's 3 years old and we hadn't done any significant balance changes after adding so many mechanics. So the balance update is complete. So awesome, and we're now looking at what the changes mean. Joe had also talked about the next thing that we can look at is world matchmaking and leaderboard and looking to the future dominations as well.
Right. Yeah, we very much like that he put that post up on the forum, so if you haven't checked that out yet, please do so. There's links literally everywhere now to that, so you can check it out on the links to that on Facebook if you don't have the link available in front of you, and on Twitter as well.
Yep. Cool. The next thing I want to talk about is something that I think people got the first look at today, and I wanted to actually put it down on our base and hopefully play with it a little bit, is the Livens Flame Projector.
Ah, yes. Can I hit the button?
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
And show it off? All right, here we go. Short little clip.
Nice. Yeah, so it does an area effect damage. And this was actually, it's a building because it was actually built into the ground. And it was used by the British. So let's put it on our base and claim. All right, it'll ask us if we want to replace the building. Yes, we want to replace the building. So we got Livens Flame Projector, and we can put it down here. And there, that's fine. That bad boy. All right, 22 damage a second. This is again an industrial age as well, so damage over time is the real thing. So let's get this challenge added. Actually, let's make sure that we edit the base. Okay, we save it there. Cool. Now we can issue our challenge, and we'll see it as we combat against our base. So issue the challenge, send the challenge. It'll show up in just 1 second. Awesome. Let's double check that we got the stronghold units that we want. You said you wanted to see the A7Vs again, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I want to see those in action.
Cool. I'm going to get rid of the Red Baron.
So I can see the troop deployment.
Yeah. Let's get rid of the Red Baron and let's add in the Whippet tanks. They're fast-moving tanks. Oh, we didn't talk about these guys yet at all.
We say fast, but I guarantee the top moving speed was probably like less than 20 miles per hour.
Right.
I think if we look it up, if anybody out there watching wants to tell us the top speed for a Whippet tank, we say fast, but I bet you they were not.
But the machine guns did provide 360 degrees of fire, so it was pretty well defensible. So, all right, let's check them out. So our friendly challenge is ready. Let's hit that and go.
Natty Nate, thanks for the follow. We appreciate it. 8.3 miles per hour for the Whippet tank.
There you go.
Super fast. Thank you. Is that someone double check if that's accurate? I don't want to say that's gospel. It sounds about right from what I remember reading about these tanks. Even me, who is a very slow person, could probably outrun a Whippet tank.
All right, we'll put them up here. We'll put these two tanks together. No,
we should do an accuracy patch where the Whippet tank takes like 20 minutes to get from one end of the base to the other, and plays yakety sax as it rolls.
But compared to the tanks of the time, it was probably much faster. So that's something that we also consider as well when doing balance passes and stuff like that. Wow.
For the Space Age release, will there be dev server access? How can I participate in that? I don't think we're ready to talk about timeline really on Space Age yet. I know Joe mentioned that it's definitely in the cards, but right now there's no real dev server access or any sort of early release for things of that nature. I would definitely say if you really want to get involved, just keep hitting us up on community channels and we'll do what we can to get you involved. And that's one thing, while Tin is playing here and showing these guys off, if you're doing something Dominations related, definitely let us know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and please let us know either on the forums or on Facebook or on Twitter. Like I said, we do read everything, so show us what you do. We want to see your videos and your art and all that fun stuff, and we'll do our best to help promote it. Here's some Whippet information.
Oh, okay.
Weighed 15 tons, a top speed of 8.3 miles per hour, which is wild. Its predecessors weighed 30 to 36 tons.
Oof.
With a top speed of 2.5 to 4.7 miles per hour. So it was much faster.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. And then we've got all of our tanks there moving together. We've got some of our so we've got our machine gun guys, and they seem to support the tanks really well. They sort of do that wide area of effect fire. Although the heavy tank can take a lot of damage, they're really slow to fire, and they can only hit one target at a time. So the combination of the two of those factory troops work really well together to both support and defend each other. We'll send all of our planes in. Oh, we gotta get these guys moving.
Lord Mosby says, "Why don't you try that strategy on a silo base?"
That's a great question. You'll have to bring other things to bear when you attack your silo base.
Like a huge umbrella.
Yes. There's the flame projector.
There it is.
But look at the range on that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I did some reading on this when I realized it was going to be in game, because honestly, I studied a lot about World War I, but I was not aware that this was the thing.
Boosh.
Yeah, well, it was facing off against a ton of tanks.
Yeah, we basically brought all the tanks all at the same time.
Yeah, and it wasn't used very frequently, but it was mainly a psychological weapon. I mean, the whole idea was to get people to get out of their trench and run in the opposite direction, which I think it did a wonderful job of doing.
Yeah.
So it was, mainly to terrify people. Which it did.
Would have gotten me to move. I'm pretty sure.
For sure, absolutely.
Nice. So that's a lot of the World War I stuff that we added for troops and events and stuff. The other part comes in with the War Wing.
The War Wing. Let's look at that for sure.
Did you want to jump to patch notes next, or did you want to do?
Yeah, let's do the patch notes.
Okay,
let's jump over there. All right. So we have a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about the War Hall, some general improvements to the game, the Centennial of the World War I Armistice, which we already kind of looked at, war manuals, bug fixes, and improvements. I'm going to jump on over to this and put this back over here. And we can open and close this as we want.
There you go. Well, one of the things I'm sure you guys have noticed is the on-screen indicators. They'll point out when Marco Polo arrives. They'll point out when your museum is full and you can collect more mysterious fragments. They'll point out for the crown boat. So that's something new that's a little quality of life stuff for this new release, so that we don't miss anything that's on the periphery of the map. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's go into the War Wing. The World War Hall of the museum is now open. Tap here to follow the World War Hall.
Ah, you did the voice.
There we go, yeah.
You did the voice.
The World War Hall of the museum can give you a similar bonus in the main hall. Artifacts in the World War Hall...
It's hard to say.
It is hard to say. Because if you run it into, Warhol is a little bit different if we added Warhol to the game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure after the space age that maybe we'll go in that sort of artsy direction. Yeah.
I think the player base would love a Warhol update where everything is incredibly artsy and strange.
Right, yeah. Let us know in the chat if you want the Andy Warhol update.
This is from Gail. Mm-hmm. Says, could you define the categories of war weapon, armor, and equipment? The artifacts that come up under each of the categories don't have a common theme, in my opinion. I cannot, off the top of my head. That might be something that we get back to you on.
We can look at some.
Yeah, we can look at some. But I off the top of my head, I don't think I can differentiate. So I can't answer that right now live, but I can answer it for you later. Okay. All right, so let's check this out.
Tapping the archive, active benefits will display the benefits from your hall that are currently in, and you can more information. This is also part of the museum improvements, as the museum overview. So if you do any of the FATUIs, as we said, first time user experience, there we go, we're learning.
Yeah.
If you missed anything or need to know more about parts of the museum, you can go right back up here and learn about them or research them. All right, so. We can craft some artifacts if you want. We can do this. And it will randomly give you, I'm sure as many of you have found out, it will randomly give you for main hall, right there with the red banner, or World War Hall with the blue banner. We also have some boxes we can open up so that we can certainly see. There we go! That's the first one, the F1 grenade. Excellent. So this isn't a weapon, and it's got, looks like guerrilla damage, MRL damage, heavy tanks, invading fighters, and ranged siege hit points. So that seems to be like it's all offensive troops. Trench knife is also an offensive weapon. Heavy infantry, invading armored car hit points. Oh, that is defensive as well. So some of that may have to do with Museum Reroll, which is a new feature as well. So if you don't like a particular stat, if you do like, oh, this has got a +3 bonus, but I wish that I had something maybe a little different, or maybe I don't want to, improve the invading armored car hit points, you can certainly hit the reroll button and change both the number and the type. You can reroll a single benefit of artifact by clicking on the reroll button. Rerolling will select another random benefit. Rerolling costs crowns, and only one benefit can be changed on each artifact. Benefits changed can be continuously rerolled. Benefits that are still locked can also be rerolled. Alright, so let's do it. So let's just say, for example, there we go. Now it's invading heavy cavalry hit points. So you can sort of jam on that. You need to pick just one line because it'll lock it in, but then you can change it until you are exchange of benefits until you're pleased with what you got. Yep.
What you're working towards.
Yep. So we also have some boxes here, I think, in our inventory. We can open those guys up. They are somewhere. I might have totally just goofed on you. Oh, we have this. Da-da-da. There we go. I knew I wasn't being subtle.
There it is.
So this is Eddie Rickenbacher's Croix de Guerre. Is that it? It's French.
I think it's de Guerre.
Croix de Guerre.
I believe.
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
So if you follow us on Facebook, if you like our Facebook page, you might have seen this 3D image as well.
Yeah.
You can grab it with your finger and you can spin it around if you're on your phone. You can use your mouse if you're on the desktop. We've got a series of these 3D images that are super, super fun, and you'll be able to see as the weeks go by. There we go.
So we get requests all the time for more legendaries, and there are more in the works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make sure that you check out both the sale window and check out Marco Polo. It can show up in a number of places. So here we go. Brewster Body Shield. There we are. This is armor. It's got APC hit points, machine gun hit points, bazooka hit points, wall sapper hit points, invading bomber damage.
I feel like so many of the designs in World War I were just so wicked. Like, if you look at the way that like all the equipment was designed, it was just designed to be as menacing as possible and as just like as brutal as possible. Honestly, I think psychological warfare was a huge thing. Getting people to break ranks and get out of their trench was, in a lot of ways almost favorable to killing the enemy and wasting ammunition.
Yeah.
So you wanted people to get up and leave, and you wanted to scare them. So everything just looked and sounded like absolutely terrifying. And which I guess, that was the way in many wars, but I feel like World War I really perfected the art of terrifying the heck out of people.
I think some of that had to do with manufacturing as well, of like, we can just produce this and we don't have to smooth out the edges and just ship it off because we're dealing with war on a different scale than we've understood before, post-industrial revolution. So, this is Ernest Hemingway's Field Surgery. So this is something that you and I were talking about a lot of, like, all the people that fought in World War I that you might not have been aware. Oh, and this is the splatter mask. This was the tank mask that I was talking about that they could wear and make sure they don't get stuff in their eyes.
It's unbelievable.
So you'd said that there were a number of combatants that
we were talking just about like a huge list of people that went on to have a big impact on history, but were also present in the First World War in some in a major capacity, some in a minor capacity. People like Walt Disney, who didn't show up till after the war, but he was there as a Red Cross driver. He was clamoring to get into the war, but he was too young, and he ended up going over there and he did a whole bunch of art on the side of ambulances, and was more of a driver than anything else during the conflict. And people like Ernest Hemingway and this artifact for him, J.R.R. Tolkien. We talk a lot. When I was teaching, we talk a lot about Adolf Hitler's experiences in the First World War and kind of how the horrors of war and some of the things that he experienced as a young man really changed his perspective on the world and kind of made him the the absolute terror that he was. So so there's just a ton of people, and I encourage you guys, if you're interested in all, a lot of them are going to be popping up in game. Well, some of them are going to be popping up in game, but read about some of the sort of the unknown figures of World War I that went on to do some things later in life. Scarier than the Emu War. I think an Emu War would be the most terrifying thing ever. If you ever watched a video of an angry emu, it's not a good thing.
We had that as an event previously in game.
Really?
Yeah, we covered the Emu War in Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a real thing.
Yeah,
See, that's
yeah.
what I mean. I learn things all the time.
Yeah, so guys in Jeeps.
I know very little of Australian history.
With machine guns, had to fight the emus, yeah.
We've gotten a lot of, I'm not trying to avoid these questions, so we've gotten a couple suggestions / questions about capacity.
Yes.
So museum capacity, is that something you see a lot on social channels as well?
A couple. The people are looking to expand their
Expand
capacity,
the museum capacity. It's definitely something that will be looked at. There was a suggestion here was saying like the ones on display don't take up space, which that's a good suggestion. In things like that, since the museum is new, changes will likely take place in the future.
Yep. The game is growing, and we'll definitely pass it along to the team. The other thing that we wanted to introduce was the new thing that came to the archive. So let's take a look at another luxury item that can be stored in your archive: manuals. And tap here to view where manuals are stored. Here you'll find manuals that you can instantly upgrade different elements of your base and army. And so we got questions on why are wall manuals different than speedups, or can speedups work in the for training troops and things like that. And I think that the design team is looking at this holistically on what these elements can do. Speedups were looking at focusing on time, and manuals came into play because walls don't take any time; they're instant upgrade. So we wanted to do something that allowed the team to say, all right. If you want to instantly upgrade instead of using resources, since we can't cut time any further, we can cut all the resources that it would take to upgrade your walls. So that's how wall manuals came to be. And I think the archive is going to continue to grow and evolve as the game grows as well. So that'll be something that we'll look at with future updates.
Yeah, it's something new, so it's going to evolve and change over time.
Yep.
There's a sad question here. I said a friend had to sold something on accident. Is there any chance there can be an unsell feature in the future? I don't know the answer to if there's going to be something added in the future, but that's not fun. I've done that in many games in the past, so something to look into. And definitely, it says you reached out to CS, but definitely reach out to us as well. We can sometimes poke around and see if something can be done. If you do something that you really regret doing.
Or at least we can let the designers know that it's a potential pitfall, and that we can put in a secondary screen to be like, are you sure you want to sell this item, or something like that. We've done that for a couple other buildings as well. So yeah, it's something the team will definitely put into consideration. So cool. One of the other items that I wanted to talk about at the museum was this.
Oh yeah.
It's this. So this...
We have a real one.
Yeah. This was used in the trenches. Not this one, obviously. This is on loan from my friend Sharon Zane. This was used in the trenches when the gas attack happened. So the idea was that you can just use this trench rattle in order to draw attention and alert everyone around you that they need to put on their gas masks. So this simple thing that feels like a kid's toy, or like something that you'd use for New Year's celebration usually, is a terrifying sound during the war. So yeah, I thought that was kind of fun and kind of neat to see in person in real life. And this also sort of felt the same we were talking about. They just produce things just to put them on the line as quickly as possible. Like, this felt like you could mass produce these a whole ton and make sure that every guy got one. As they were going out into the field or whatever.
It's very scary. So it's very scary. So we have some people commenting on history, and one of the things I, as someone who has studied history and love history, I always try and be as respectful as possible. You're saying that it's different from people on that side of the ocean, and I agree. Like I don't know what it was like 100 years ago during the war. I'll never know, and I don't know how that psychologically impacted people or their families that it lived all that time ago. I think hearing about the stories of like these units and how they were used and how they were built and how they functioned, I think that's important, and I think that's a big part of DomiNations as well. I think there's a lot of history in the game, and I think it is of interest to some people. So I apologize to you if you feel differently, but my personal opinion as someone who works for the community is that people do care about the history, and and I'm happy to talk to you, you know, in a private channel or something if you want to talk through this stuff. Okay. That's something we have to be careful of, and that's one thing, you know, as a teacher, I would always have to be very careful because you never know the perspective that you put on top of something else may be different than the people that you're talking to. So I apologize to you if I said something that was offensive. I take World War I very seriously. I think it was a very scary time. So hopefully I didn't. I don't remember saying anything, but
yeah, no, it definitely seemed pretty terrifying. My cousin Chuck looked into Grandpa Schneider, obviously not my grandfather, but my ancestor who fought in the war, and it seemed like from the armchair view, it seemed quite easy. Like the Americans joined the war super late, right?
Right.
His Grandpa Schneider's unit, like they mobilized on April 27th, and then they got to France in August. And so me, as an American, I'm like, oh, it's August. The war ends in November. And then he started to like publish the daily field reports of like all the dead and all the wounded and all the gas like every day. And you're like, oh, nobody makes it to November. Oh,
yeah.
That's scary or what?
Yeah. It's absolutely terrifying. I just want to talk more about games. Absolutely, we always want to talk more about the game. And I didn't mean to call you out either. I genuinely felt bad. I was like, oh, maybe I said something, that I shouldn't have said. But it's something as we always have to be careful of, especially if we're using second, third hand information that's read out of a book someplace. So let's keep poking through these patch notes. What else should we specifically focus on? Let's pull them up real quick while this battle's going on.
Yeah.
Actually, so we did wall manuals. What about, do we have anything specific to address with the bug fixes? And I don't have the list in front of me anymore, so I closed it down, unfortunately.
Nice. No, that's totally fine. Some of them, with every release, we try to put in prevents for cheats. So we take in a lot of the things that CS gets. We hopefully code things that are a little tighter. So yeah, usually bug fixes involved fixing that kind of stuff. General fixes for text or for art. There was a tank that showed up as the wrong tank model, and Eagle Eyes noticed it like day one that we did the 6.5 release. So we got that fix come in. There's some fixes that we can do on the fly, like the balance changes. We can do like numbers under the hood, but some things, and thank you for your patience, that need to wait for the full release. And so that's why we try to be as detailed as possible with all of our patch notes and all of our balance updates as we release them.
Good stuff. If you want to see the patch notes in full, they're available not only on forums, but they're available on Facebook as well. There's a note there with all sorts of patch notes and more information about 6.6. And we'll always obviously put them up as they, right as they come out. So we have a little bit of time left before the snow envelops us.
There we go. Boom.
Oh, nice.
There are all the guys getting deployed.
There we go. Let's look at this real quick.
Yeah, they got 16 seconds left. We'll send in our planes to hopefully defend them a little bit.
Oh, hang in there, guys.
Yeah, there we go.
The lone soldier. He's going to have a story to tell.
Yeah, nice.
And then I was alone on the battlefield. Oh. It had a happy ending.
That's it. Send them home.
Yeah, you had a happy ending. All right. We're going to clip that. Use it later. Good stuff. We do want to spend a little time going over the really cool stuff that our community has been up to before we get out of here. And like I said, before the snow swallowed us, we can do a quick summary of what Joe said. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I can quickly kind of go over at least what was touched on very quickly. Let me hop back to this.
Yeah.
So we're not looking at a boring gray screen. But so we learned a little bit about Joe's background. We talked about his duties as a lead designer, and a lot of this stuff was also touched on his. He elaborated here, went into a little bit more detail, but it was also touched on his note on Facebook and also on the forum, so you can check his answers out there. We talked about barrack troop strength. We talked about plans to differentiate between strength of war bases. We talked about where DomiNations will be in 2 years, and I think he gave more information than we've ever really revealed, to my knowledge, publicly during that statement. I mean,
we've hinted at some things.
We've hinted, but I think it's the first time that I've heard a dev say publicly, like, yeah, there's stuff after Space Age, which is super cool. So he also talked about leaderboard and matchmaking changes. What's on the horizon for that? Let's see. Nation changes, which is a question that we get all the time. So he talked about nation changes, and he talked about let's see, battle timers, hidden information on bases, and that was the bulk of it. There were some questions I think we fielded on top of those, but all those answers, as soon as the stream wraps, they'll be available on Facebook Live. Not live, it'll be an archived video on Facebook, and it'll be available on Twitch as well. So I encourage you to look for the answers to those, and and kind of stew through those and look through those, because I think they were pretty good. So let's quickly do our community stuff before we get out of here in the community corner.
Yeah.
First of all, how you can participate. There's a million different things that you can do to kind of be a bigger participant in our community. Like I said, we do read all of our social channels all the time. A lot of you guys are coming up with really cool, great content, and we appreciate it. We're not going to, unless you show it to us and say, we would love to show this off, we probably won't feature it on a stream unless you tell us you really want us to. We do look at YouTube videos every single week, and we put a collection of those together that we share with the team every week. So if you're making YouTube content, the odds are I have featured it before. There's like a young man that he makes videos with his dad. I want to say he's probably 9 years old. I include his videos every week. He has like barely any YouTube followers, but I love his videos and I love his passion. So if you're making stuff on YouTube, let us know. Sometimes we'll find it on our own. And if you're making other content, let us know. So the first thing is DomiNations Prime. There is, I can type this in here. There is a little thing I can type into chat so you guys can figure out how to join Prime. There we go. So there is a link that if you are interested in DomiNations Prime, you can go to that link and learn a little bit more. I have some things that I wrote down so I don't screw things up. So why don't you tell what you know about DomiNations Prime, then I'll jump in.
DomiNations Prime, alongside the Sandbox, is one of the servers on Discord where the DomiNations community meets, chats, trades silly stories and tactics, and is a good place to come hang out. I'm there from time to time. I know that various members of the dev team come and lurk there, and so it's a good place to meet other like-minded DomiNations players.
Yeah, and some of the events put on by Prime are honestly some of the most ambitious, large-scale events I've seen put on by any community.
Yes.
We support, I don't want to say, well, we support a bit, but it's all them. Like, all the work is them. They put a ton of work into these events. I encourage you, if you want to get more involved, if you don't know about it, head on over to that bit.ly link, learn a little bit more, and it's awesome. Like, if you want to get involved in some tournaments, and they have all sorts of events going on all the time. So definitely, well,
we do a number of community wars where they're organized by you, the community, and then all we do is make the match, and the weekend is set.
Awesome. All right, the next on the list for this week is Gale Just Want to Have Fun live stream every other Saturday, 1400 UTC. There is a link there. I checked a few of these out in my lurkings in the past couple months. I love it, man. It's so, like, I think Gale might be in here now, so I'm going to put Gale on the spot. But there's so much warmth in these live streams, digging into not only news and information but live gameplay. There's constructive criticism, but it's fine. Like, I like that. That's fine. So if you're interested in live stream, check it out every other Saturday. Become part of their community. Join in. If you do something like this and you are producing content for DomiNations, let us know.
Did you watch the episode a couple weeks ago where she did the meta? They were talking about our live stream on their live stream because we talked about their live stream.
I don't believe I actually saw that one. I would have loved to have seen that, because then I would have gone on their stream while talking about the stream, and it would have just made the Earth implode on itself. Right. So yeah, I didn't. You're very welcome.
It folded too many times, right?
Yeah.
For everybody's safety.
The next is the Fire Pit, which is podcast by It's Dukes and Ward. I listened to this a few times. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. Unfortunately, I didn't add any links to chat, but I think Dukes was in here earlier. You may have to spell it out. I think I have links disabled. This is hard to share links if you have links disabled. But definitely check out the Fire Pit podcast. It's super cool if you're into Dominations. There, see, like he tried to do a link. I'll just mod you for next time, buddy. So yes, so spell it out, Dukes. Where people can find you. My apologies. I didn't have it written down because I was unprepared. But
you can, if you want to do a throwback, you can find those links in the Discord groups.
There you go.
Join
You
the
can definitely do
Dominations
that.
Prime or the Sandbox, and you'll be able to find the group that's Fire Pit.
All right, so the other thing is this is, I believe, still in the works. We talked about this last time. It's definitely something you can check in. Head to the bit.ly link there on this and learn a little bit more about the Relics Hunters Challenge. If my knowledge is correct, this is something still in the works, but it's all about being a good museum curator and building some cool artifacts. Ban him! Here you go. It's good stuff. All right, so we also had a number of one of the things that we do on the community side pretty frequently is we ask for base submissions, we ask for screenshots. I don't think we're showing screens off on this particular stream, but one thing we are going to do is look at some players that submitted bases. So usually about once a month, maybe once every 3 weeks, we'll ask for base submissions. And we gather them all up, we look at them, and then we can look at them live on these streams. So it's just a cool way for us to show off all of your hard work and all of your cities. So
the first one we're going to look at is I'm No Angel. And the fun part about this for us is that we see you on the forums all the time, and then we get to look at your base and be like, oh, cool, look at this layout. Look at the concentric squares that you've got where you clearly are defending your oil very well. And it's just interesting to see where you place your walls. I'm wondering if there's intentional gaps with traps of like, oh, is there a trap like dead center there? Or if there's like certain pathing things that you know that it'll hopefully defend against some of the other units. One of the other things that I've gotten used to checking is all of the corners. Like immediately I go to like a single corner and be like, all right, is there Forbidden City somewhere, or is there like some outlier building that you need to think about as you with your attack strategy and stuff like that. The other thing that's neat about all the players that send in their bases is that there's a wide range of ages. It's not just all Cold War players. It's, you get medieval players or you get Iron Age players that be like, look at my base.
Right.
I'm just starting the game and I'm super excited about it. And it's awesome to see the whole breadth of the player base.
Rusty Bucket says hello. Hello, Rusty Buckets.
Howdy.
Yeah, I love looking at these bases.
Yeah. The modern men. So through the power of technology, we've copied your bases and put them in our alliance. So that way it's easy to keep you all together.
If you're watching and confused while you're in two alliances.
Right.
Like, what have you done?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's like a lot going on.
This is cool. This is a cool base.
Yeah, the other thing that's neat is all the stuff that people will hold out to be like, oh, look, I've got all these piles of gold. Like, there's not a lot of ways to decorate your base. But players have definitely learned, like, oh, we can save some of the statues or the relics or whatever else that are the runes that are underneath the forest when you clear them out. Like, you can save those and keep those as decorations all over.
first several bases were very decorative, and some of it was very non-functional because I was getting my butt kicked. But
yeah,
I loved just the nerdy strategy and architectural planning aspect of it.
Yeah. Especially because you get to see what they're doing, even with their wonders or whatever else. So you've got like Versailles there, which slows down troops. You've got these two mortars on either side of the town center. So the idea is that even if you drop your dudes here, they're just going to slow up, and then they're just going to get pounded on by both those mortars from either side, thinking that they can get a quick victory just because it's one wall to your town center, but it's not even, wouldn't even be that. So nice. And then these whole sniper towers is a backstop. So that's something that as well you have to look at with your backstops of like, where is the air defense, and if I'm going to hit something that in theory should be a soft target, tanks or whatever, you can make sure that you're not immediately strafing through some air defenses or towers or something like that. It's cool. Cydex is on our list, right?
Yes, side decks from Winters. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the other whoa factor is when you get to come look at these bases, you're like, whoa. Especially when if you're playing as a lower age, you're like, oh wow, look at the way that this builds up, and you've got the sort of white concrete, and you've got those yellow safety lines and everything like that. Just the little touches that the art team does to make each age feel like its own unique thing is something to really, have a fine appreciation of. I suppose we can scope out your troop composition as well at the time we copied your base over and be like, let's see you're using these guys. You see you've got some of the attack helicopters there. That's cool. Get your mercs built up.
Nice.
Nice. Cool.
It's a cool base.
Yeah. Why do I have a mustache? I made it myself. It's not somebody had said it's like a very 70s thing, and then they thought it was fake.
No, they did.
But yeah, on the forums, it was sort of cute, and then yeah. But no, this is a real mustache, and I made it myself.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Perpetually jealous of your real mustache. Maybe next time I'll wear a fake one because mine will never grow to be that glorious.
We have a pile of them in the kitchen.
I saw that.
So yeah.
I didn't want to just steal a mustache.
Fake mustache for days.
Yeah.
Awesome. Who else is Warbound is on our list, right?
Yes.
Cool. Ba-bum-bum. Really segmented with all the square. Everything's got its own box.
Right.
Your missile silo's got a box. Your mortar's got a box. Yeah, one way in, one way out for your heavy tank on defense. Every once in a while, you'll see somebody who's completely walls in a unit deploying building.
I've done that before in the past.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just like, what have I done?
Right. And you have to sort of wonder, is that intentional? Like, do you want the players to, like, break through the wall and then just be met with a flood of defensive units? Or is it just simply, I forgot to put a door in so they can't get out now? Yeah.
Right.
But, yeah. Nice. And there's, like, a lot of time and care that goes into, like, making sure, like, all your buildings or all your houses are spread out there and stuff like that. So that's really
very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're almost out of time, so let's do this, and I'll say my quick little piece here at the end. There were a lot of questions, obviously, that came through on chat, and there's literally 99 here in Facebook. I haven't even gotten a chance to scroll through while we're streaming, so we're gonna have to go back and look at a lot of those. We very much appreciate it, and I know that just sounds, just words, but we do. We appreciate you guys taking the time to show up. We will read through all of these, and all your questions and concerns will filter back to the team, and we'll go from there. But the best place that you guys can find us is obviously on our social channels. We have, of course, Twitch, which is here at Nexon Mobile. We have Twitter, Play Dominations, Facebook, Play Dominations. We have our forums, and like I said, there is some great stuff by Joe Grubb on there addressing some community hot topics that we put up on Monday. If you haven't looked at that yet, please do so. It's really, really great information. I think he answers some questions that people have been asking for a while. Continue to ask those questions, and we will continue to answer them, okay? And, of course, there's Rally Point, and the link is there. What else? What else do we have to say?
I think that's about it. If we want, we can hunt that turkey, because if people had said, like, oh, there's a turkey on your base. Yeah.
Let's hunt
Thanksgiving's coming soon. Let's get him. I don't know. You guys probably have your audio on. It's got this great gobble noise. So get him. Get the turkey.
Let's hunt that turkey. Yeah. And we'll end on the hunting of the turkey.
Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for the turkey blessing for Thanksgiving next week, because it's here in the U.S. I know they have it different in Canada, but yeah.
Awesome. So, of course, like I said, this entire stream will be available on Twitch TV for a while, and then it'll be available on Facebook forever and on YouTube forever. YouTube will probably be tomorrow. Facebook and Twitch will be later on today, so please check it out there if you want to see the first hour of Dev Conversation. I think there's a lot of really interesting and fun information in there, especially if you are interested in development and all, or if you want to know answers to some of those hard-hitting community questions. We'll be back later. We don't have a date planned yet for the next stream, but we will work on one, and we'll let you guys know when one is in the works. We appreciate you taking the time. Special shout out to Maggie for moderating. She was in the chat, moderating the chat, making sure no tomatoes were thrown.
Yep.
I didn't get
very
hit,
good,
so
yeah.
I think she did a good job. And we appreciate it, guys. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Well, that was an interesting stream. I like the songs. Good God. I had an awkward mistake earlier that I kinda probably share and roast myself a bit. What happened was I was watching the stream and then I went to rally, and when I rallied, I like rallied the other side of the map with my like palm, and I had to like the I don't know, the entire I tried to like save it, it went downhill very quickly. So I cry every time. But yeah, stream's over. You guys can actually like leave if you want. The dev stream's over. I'm just screwing around in Empire League. What is it? Oh, this is it. So I'm sitting there watching the stream. I drop all the heavy tanks, and then I'm holding the iPad with like one hand, and then I'm just sitting there like, I'm gonna just rally real quick, and I slipped, I guess, and I hit the palm, hit like the bottom side of the map. Like, what's this awful rally? So I rally. Look at this. So I was gonna speed it 4 times. They were, look at these heavy, dude. This would have been a sick ass hit, but I tried to plane all the anti-tank guns on the way there and kill some of the towers, and I was like, you know what? I'm dropping 2 heals. I lost a tank already. I'm just gonna quit. So, just retrain. So that happened. Feels bad, man. Feels really bad. Have I already? Damn, dude. Really? How am I already at 700? It doesn't feel like that. So yeah. I've been upgrading generals nonstop. This account, that's it. That's all that's been going on. Just defense and generals. I'm at 1 that's going to level 40. It'll be there on, let me think here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Sunday will be the 3rd day. Yeah, so Sunday, maybe Sunday at like 9, Sunday 8 p.m. It'll be a level, I'll have a level 40. And then the second one to level 40 will be, I think, Monday night or Tuesday morning. And I think level 40 is like, since CWA is out right now, I think people need to have their generals at level 40 to be able to like really realistically have like a good some more strength in offense. I think level 50 generals and level 60 generals make it so that if you're playing with bazookas, you can actually do strats that like just like 2 generals with like a heavy tank on one side, a heavy tank, or I mean a general with like 3 tank destroyers on the left side. Like, Fury Kane did this attack, and then you drop your main army down the middle and just swoop down and just take care of a whole base by covering the edges and in the middle together. And the tanks, the generals and the tank destroyers can survive through all that, and it's really strong. And so yeah, I don't know why I'm listening to this. Can I not listen to this song? Nope. So yeah, I'm actually gonna hit one of these. I'm not sure where. I've been trying to hit up a lot lately. Oh, this is good. It's this guy. I So when I want to hit these bases, the first thing I look at is where is it that I want to destroy a lot of the anti-air first, and I think the bottom side gives me a lot of opportunity. I might actually go left to right. Left to right actually seems like a better idea. Let's do that. And there we go, sneezing. Okay, so for the first part of it, the first thing we're gonna have to plan off the bat is this guy, because when the tanks move in through these gaps here to get to these towers, they're gonna go through these gaps, obviously, and then get shot at by the anti-tank guns there. So I think what should have been done is I should just rally, like have like half of them rally like a section of wall, but it's fine. They're gonna go through and they're gonna just kill everything. But see, this right here, this like anti-tank would have so many free shots right now. So this is kind of why I need to destroy that guy early. I need to start getting on these guys right now. Okay, rally this guy. So now they're going to the middle, which is a little bit kind of. I think we can be fine here. I won't be able to have time, I don't think, to rally the anti-tank gun. So what we need to do right now is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Because 3 will kill this guy. Yep. I don't have enough damage yet to successfully kill that guy in 2. So now what we got is we got tanks are, you know, somewhat still strong. I'm gonna actually plan some of this other stuff here. I'm gonna go and speed rally on this guy right here. Okay, kill that. So now I think all the anti-tank guns are destroyed now. Now we gotta look at the 2 factories. Factories are right here, right? I'm not gonna actually pop them just yet. I think I'm gonna wait on that. And why are so many of them topside? I don't know. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and open the map up for myself a little bit here. Oh, that last one's gonna take 3, isn't he? Yep. It's fine. Now we know. But that sets me up perfectly to do this next step. I'm gonna kill this guy. 1, 1, 2, 1. Rally on this guy. Cool. Okay. Okay, we popped the heavy tank, which is fine. We can. Okay, so I'm gonna actually send 4 of them at the readout because they'll actually hit the heavy tank. Because the heavy tank's gonna walk through the readout. It's gonna go like in front of the readout and kind of over, so I can just send the planes at that readout. And even if that heavy tank got a speed rally on defense, which is impossible, but even if it did, the planes would kill it where I sent them to. So I'm gonna go here to kill this guy. I'm gonna plane this guy down, and he should die here. No. So we got a minute left. I'm gonna go ahead and drop here. I'm gonna go ahead and kill. I want to kill this and kill this guy. I wanted to kill this readout earlier because I don't want them to curl into the inside of the base like they're doing here. That's a waste of tanks. I think if they just kept walking to the outside, and so the way to manipulate that is to plane the inside of that base a lot sooner. A little bit of a awareness issue there, but. This, boom, 100%. Oh, only 4 stars on that. I need to. I like this song. This song is really cool. It's like a Zumba song. At least I found out that's what it was yesterday, but I like the song. This looks doable, but I want to hit where the most anti-airs and stuff are. What's the part of the base is going to be the most trouble? And I think we're going to have trouble with the... I don't actually know. I mean, everything's really weak. Even if he has max SAMs, I'm going to crush this base. I'm going to hit this base. There's a... Okay, heavy tank on the bottom. It's going to spawn. It's going to be a heavy tank MP, what? 2? 1. 1 heavy... Oh, yeah, okay, let's do this. And we'll just take a walk. There's really no, like, clear... Oh, that's gonna kill instantly, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Hopefully these guys spawn and I can just kill them instantly here. Yeah, they do. Thank God. Do a speed rally on something that's really easy to speed rally on. Okay, SAMs are low leveled. Yes, the space does exist up here. Oh, that's really bad. He went through up there. See, I don't have enough damage to like really take that castle out. I can't drop a bazooka there because the bazooka will die. Kill this guy quickly. So right now we're just gonna go on cleaning duty. not clean. We're gonna do on full-on protection duty. So what we're gonna do is just be the tanks that we can without obviously losing planes, because we have one plane now that's low. Okay, we need to kind of skill this for me, and I got you, dude. There you go. And so you protect your planes, and you help your synergy. So, while developing synergy with your attack. We actually might be able to do this. This castle's gonna do a lot of damage. It'll probably eat 4 riflemen, or 5, before I can kill it with my, So I'm gonna do is 1, 2, 1, 1, right? I'm gonna drop you, and then I'm gonna drop you guys, and then we're gonna just hopefully go through and be able to kill everything here. This bazooka's dealing damage. That's all you. Good job. You got this, bro. Now, this guy's gonna have heavy tank MK1. That's right, MK1's coming out. Which is easy. I'm gonna speed rally on a gold there. Oh god, don't die. Got you. Damn. Third shot, 30. Okay, well I'm gonna have to crown him. Oh yeah, he's completely dead there. Dang it, dude. That sucks. I was gonna try to use him for a few attacks. I did not expect there to be any traps up there, period. Damn it. That blows. That actually blows, yeah. So he's out for like... It's gonna cost like 100... No, it's gonna cost probably like 250 crowns or something like that to like crown him. 200 crowns. 34? I don't, you know what I'll do? I'll wait. How many hours is he out for? Actually, it won't tell me here. It might tell me here. I'm just gonna wait an hour or two before I crown him. Bring him down to like 20 crowns. I'll take him. So that's what we'll do. I don't know what else to do with him. Maybe, let's take Nobunaga. He's weak as hell. Not like he's a heavy tank, so why not? Why not? Okay, the castle's gonna be a bit of a thing. Maybe. The Gatling Gunners, really. So what we got to do is we're gonna have to deal with the Gatling Gunners. So... Oh, that's a 15? I thought it said 45. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's easy. So I'm gonna do a bit of a split drop here. So we have to plane United Nations, because I'm gonna at least send one plane over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pre-plane this. Pre-plane this guy. I think one plane here will be fine. That's it. Yep, that's doable. Okay, there's an anti-tank gun up there as well. That needs to be one planed here as well. If it gets one shot here, I'm fine with that. We got a majority of the damage out on it. I'm gonna actually double plane this guy. It should kill that heavy tank instantly. Or not. That's fine too. Okay, so now at this point, this is something I've been like teaching myself, is when you get to this point, you can really just relax. Like, you don't have to worry about sending planes. You don't have to like go into hyperventilation mode. Oh, I have to go plane this, I have to plane that. You just relax. Right here, you just send one plane in. Boom, all of them dead. Rip. Or not. He's got Anchor Wide. Just kidding, highlight. I'm gonna drop a heal like this. Because I didn't see Anchor Wide, so that was my mistake. I completely misinterpreted that information there. So I'm gonna go 1, 2. Okay, you're gonna get right there. I think I don't lose a plane here. Oh, dude, I'm sending all the planes over here just to kill this anti-air, because that's the one thing that could make me lose a plane over there. This bottom side is so tricky, dude. Oh my god, it's so tricky. So what we're gonna do here actually is I'm gonna rally them on this wall, because it kind of forces them all to come down a little bit, and when they rally this wall here, it opens up these like little they can just walk through like that, right? So we're gonna just take this slow as I can drop a decoy here, I can drop another heal. I think I'm gonna drop I think I'm just gonna like just let them, or not, because they have extremely awful, you know, AI pathing. That's right. So now what we gotta do, this is the win condition. Kill this guy off, right? So I can kill him here. He's gonna die here. Oh, we lose a plane here, don't we? Oh no, we don't. We got lucky. That sand battery didn't do any damage whatsoever. So the next thing is to kill these 2 towers right here in this redoubt before, well, you guys are pushing it up already. So let me see if I can plane you guys without losing anything here. Okay, that's so close. Yeah, I'm gonna wait here. I'm gonna just wait and use my next rally to kill off. Is this any tank gonna be a problem? Okay, kill that guy. Rally. Bam. I got you, dudes. Do that. Oh, yes. Okay, now here's the next part that you have to be very careful for, is he's got Koreans, so we gotta send the plane here. Actually, they're really heavy tank, or they're really healthy tanks. Yeah, so you drop that guy there, only to do a, sort of a small... This is called finessing a base, for anyone that's wondering. This is where you just surgically take it apart. Okay, drop this guy. I'm gonna go start on the house, and then I'm gonna do this. Okay, you're good. You're good. So up here you gotta finesse these bases, but yeah, we got through it. You have to really watch your heavy tanks, like you gotta watch them like really closely, and you got to know like where they're gonna path and where they're gonna decide to go. Like you just have to make, you know, these decisions on the spot. So like sometimes you're like, let me go now. Wait a second. Oh, he's doing that. Okay, let me change it up slightly, because my planes are super low there, and sending in planes that low into towers and that readout would kill them all. So it's one of those things where you have to really just finesse it. And I run. Oh, this song's gonna. Yeah. Let me go to. Is it like Trim Radio? Is this. What happened to this playlist? Delete? I don't know what happened to that playlist. It just like died. Yeah, that playlist died. I don't know what happened. That was really weird. Monster Cat. Okay, here's the one. I like this playlist. It's a copyright, but not like copyright to the point of taking the video down. We can. I just have to take it from the bottom, I believe. So we'll try it. And then planing early is just gonna be a pain because, well, I gotta kill off a lot of stuff, and I have 3 planes I have to cycle out, so I decided to drop the last 3 planes so I could cycle everything. God. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, Sam's off. That's fine. Send the guy here, who I know is extremely strong here in terms of the other planes. So I'm gonna go ahead and rally this guy right here. He's gonna die here. Okay, so now we got what? 2 planes per week. Okay. All right. Well, you guys might need to heal here, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think they need to heal, but I do. Okay, so I'm gonna actually plane this guy because that heavy tank should die here. Yep. It's more of a like, I don't need to necessarily plane the heavy tank. I just plane the objects that the heavy tank, like buildings the heavy tank is running in front of, and that way it just kills it in the process. I don't have to just sit there and like have my planes doing loops because they can't hit the heavy tank. You just kill the building and the heavy tank together. They cross at certain points, and if you know the planes have a range, by the way. You can do that. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and plane this guy, and then I'm gonna try super hard to just kill this guy without losing a plane. I'll lose a plane here, don't I? Oh, readout doesn't kill it. I got you, dude. Oh my god. I lost bazookas. I lost quite a bit of stuff there. But guess what? I kept my planes alive. 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 1. And all 3 in. Should be able to hurt this guy enough to kill him here. I think this should work here. Okay, good. This is a level 6? Is it? 5 or 6? Sniper tower. Got my 7th heavy tank up there. Look at him, level 21. He's legally able to drink in the US anyways now. But I mean, he's probably from a different country. I'm not really sure where Nobunaga's from. Maybe French, I don't know. I don't know what he is, like that name. No, he's not French. He'd be like a... He's probably Asian. Yeah, he's probably Asian of some sort. Wait, what do we miss? Oh my god, I should have dropped another thing. Okay, well, we got Rally. Oh yeah, the loop-de-loops, I love this. Just when you couldn't get enough. Loop-de-loops. Oh my god, Nobunaga, dude, you're like killing yourself slowly. Well, that's how you die as a Nobunaga. You're out for 4 hours. That's fine. I'll use Joan. That's fine. I don't really care. Generals at this point are just like, I don't even know what they are. They're just a cool way to add flair to the attack. Not really anything else more than that. Ooh, 20. Up another training blessing. $2,997 medals, and then we hit King or Empire 1. Ooh. This is a good base to hit, yeah. Okay, how are we gonna do this? I think I'm gonna hit from the bottom. Okay. How about this? We can take it from... Let me do 4, I think, in the middle. And then use 2 on the wings. So yeah, kill off all these center spawning buildings, okay? Open this up. Do this. 1, 2. Right, 1, 2, 1. Right. I'm gonna drop 1 here, and I'm gonna drop 1 here. And the reason we do that is now we have like a majority of the tanks in the middle. They can handle themselves. And then what we can do is I need to plane off these guys. They're gonna be a pain in the butt. And we just made it the heavy tanks an opening, so they can really just be themselves. And then we got these heavy tanks on the side that just kind of do whatever. Now these are the like very finicky, like finessey like things you can do. I would not recommend you doing this if you have no idea how heavy tanks work. I mean, I guess you could do it in lower metals for sure. Yeah, you can do it in lower metals. That's not to say you can't. But you know, this is just like I've hit bases like this before, and I've tried different variations of this, and this is me trying a new variation, but still understanding what the home conditions are for this, for my, you know, strategy of where I started. So this is just one of those. Let's see if this works. Okay. Oh, we don't kill it there. I thought we did. I thought that would actually kill. I don't think. Yeah, that's fine. All right, I got you. You guys are Koreans are dead here. And we kill the sniper tower. Yeah. So you just hit the sniper tower there. So what we need to do is we need to kill these here. Those little infantry guys are fine. Oh, I can't rally that. He's gonna die there. Okay, so you zoom in. You have 2 choices here. Okay, just pick I picked the mortar there. I thought the mortar would have been funny. Good to rally on. I got you. Kill that. What are they gonna have in the factory? Oh, heavy tank MK4s? I think at least. So you need to drop. Okay, so wait right here. This is called just, you know, setting off a distraction for the whatever spawns. Or not. It's fine. I think we can do it here. Oh yeah, we got training blessing. We can actually just put them all here. We need 3 here. Should be rallying honestly, but it's fine. So there's that. Oops. Oh my bad. I'm fine. Okay. Okay. Alright, so this is 3000 is when bases start to kind of like, obviously every tier, every 200 metals, I call that a tier. Every tier gets harder, right? Actually, we should call that something else. We should call that every, I don't know, Like, I guess every 200 medals, I don't know what to call it. They obviously supposed to get harder. For me, 26 and 28, so 26 to 2800 medals, and then 28 to 3000 medals, or 2999, whatever you want to call it. The medals, the bases are relatively like somewhat bearable, and then up here is when you start getting bases where they're just like, it's like the game's telling you, by the way, this is kind of what Dynasty's gonna feel like. So get used to it. And I like to stick up here to kind of like test myself. I'm always working on new things, so when I drop medals and then I climb back up, it's not always like I think this this last like few weeks that I've been grinding for oil, I've been working on trying to be more passive with the planes, trying not to push too much of an advantage, not to force myself to lose planes kind of thing. And ooh, maybe on this one actually. All chops are popped, makes it easy hit. I feel like I need, yeah, I'm gonna need some sort of like help with that. So I think allied troops and like mercs, I could probably kill that base. I just don't see myself getting through it in time. Same thing with this guy. I don't see myself getting through it in time. Without blessings, maybe on that one. Yeah, I don't. The only thing I don't like about these base layouts is that I can't really control the direct path of like tanks, because they're gonna want to wrap around these little sections. So you only have one rally, so you hope that like before you rally, a tank breaks like this section of wall, so that you could rally on this section and then kill this guy with like planes or whatever. But after that, they're just gonna like hit through every single trap, and you don't know what traps these guys have. There's 8 landmines in the entire base total, so there might be like 3 or 4 up front, and you lose 3 tanks up front. So it's kind of a huge risk. These kinds of bases, though, you can actually force a rally on like a wall here or something, and they can kind of like, you know, push through. Like these, I feel like maze base layouts are kind of being discovered, that you don't have to necessarily always go through the maze. You can just break the walls and force a rally or something. Let's see here. This is a nice horizontal, taking a walk type of base, but no. So I'm saying mostly no. So I might drop maybe 100 medals and climb up again. But maybe I find something up here that's tasty enough to hit. Parity 2730. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about this dream of mine that I have to get up to Dynasty League. I have to figure out to, like, when the planes were really strong that one weekend, I think it was 2 weeks ago. That was like just really awesome. Like, I've made it up to 4,000 medals, and then I got to realistically see that these bases aren't possible. Like, I hit one guy's base who I'm pretty sure had like minus like 40% like fighter HP or something, because I was barely able to snipe his base with planes. Like, it was disgusting. Like, sent all 5 planes in for the town center, and it's like 10, I think it took like 14 straight fronts, so you send 5 in, 5 out, and then another 4 in. It's all dependent on road network, but the guy had a really good road network, so I did that. And then when like when they came out, it was like 2 of them had died, with one of them really low, and I sent the last 3 and they barely got the kill, and then they all died. And I was just like, this guy's museum was through the roof probably. Okay. Come on, leave me. Alright, Max Sams. I love my life today. It's looking like a dream here. Oh my god, yeah. Just gonna heal you before you get hit by that thing and die. Gonna kill the Gatling gunners here. That's the biggest part, is killing them off. You wanted to slow tanks down? Yeah, that guy's dead. Well, I found all of the other three Sams. That's fantastic. Yeah, you guys can kill this and like rather quickly. Okay, this thing's gonna die, thank god. I'll be able to kill you. Oh god, this is actually gonna be awkward. We may not make it with planes alive, because this bottom part of the map I should have taken into account. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to get through, so I can't really, like anything here, I can't send planes in for. Like, I just can't. Like, I'm so screwed. But my tanks should be in it all. Yeah, there's gonna be a landmine here, watch it. Oh, there's gonna be a landmine, dude. You guys aren't setting on it. There's a landmine here. Okay, I'm good. I don't even care. Just kill this guy here. Oh wow, and jeez. In true lax fashion breaks the rule. It's okay. We're fine here. We lost one plane so far. Oh my god, these guys are gonna be a pain in the butt. Don't know what to do about this last tower here. If we do a loop-de-loop, I might be screwed here. So I'm gonna kill this guy, yep. Okay, wait for that readout to die. What's this? Goodbye. Level 25. She ain't that strong. Somehow I kept thinking there was gonna be like a MK4 coming out, even though I've been seeing MK1s nonstop. So I don't know. I'm so used to MK4s coming out. It's just like whatever. It's like I did the same thing in World War. When I'm in World War, I plan an attack, and I look at their I literally just go to their factories and go, okay, there's a heavy tank MK4 or MK5 coming out. In World War, it's always like one of those two. And then I look at them and I'm like, oh, they have level 2 bunkers. Oh. Oh. So. Let's continue our adventure into Empire 1. Okay, we see the Sams are low. That's not indicative of what the other traps are going to look like, but he's got heavy tank MP5, so starting on the bottom side's a no-go. There's a Versailles, and the heavy tank MP5 will come out. I'm thinking I could start... Top side's really risky too, but I think we might have to go top side, or we can go right side. Okay. Now, I'm going to hold the last 2 plants because I want to start up on the top, but I really need to make sure that I can kill these guys off the bat. I think I need to drop a 3rd plane. Yeah, 3rd plane. That's actually really interesting. Okay. And then what we do is we need to drop a few of you guys here. Like I said, I'm going to just wait till they kill this here. I need some 3 planes in for this guy here, minimal. Okay. Stuff, boys. Alright. So we know it's going to take 3 planes to kill this anti-air. And I think I'm going to come from the right side. So I'm going to send 4 planes to this anti-air. I think I should be able to... Yeah. I'm going to just send 4. I should be able to kill the tower behind it as well. And then I think I should get some hits on this anti-tank gun. Oh, I thought that was going to be a kill. See, that was my mistake there. Womp womp. Now, for this anti-air in the middle here, I'm going to send 4 planes in as well. because it will take a lot. I actually should have waited till the heavy tank spawned. Yeah, that would have been way smarter. But we can still kill him here, so that's fine. It worked out. Oh wait, that's that anti-tank gun's not even okay. I lose a plane here. That's fine. I didn't see the like I saw it last second. It was building, and I think I told myself beforehand don't send a plane there, but my mind was just like blanked out right there. Yeah, that was really dumb. That was a mistake. That should never have been happening there. Kill this here. Come on, speed rally into it. Okay, if you can kill that tower actually, because you guys should be in a good spot to kill that tower. Oops, 1, 2. Then I should be able to do this here. Now, one plane is going to do a loop-de-loop, but I don't think it's going to be, yeah, there's a house there, and there's also that readout, so I was hoping it would do exactly what it did. Okay, so we gotta do all this here. That's really good. Works out really well there. Everything. Wait, you guys have access to this town center? Yeah, you can just blow this up. Alright, that's gonna be a heavy tank MK5 coming out of here. We need to probably just get ready for this. And yeah, that would have sucked. I probably would have lost a heavy tank there if I did not drop planes. And I'm fine without not getting the full 100%. Like, that's not a big deal, but I'm gonna try to go for it here. I'm gonna save you, I promise. You're actually gonna go out, I think, here, because this is gonna hurt you enough. I'm gonna try to focus on this here. I don't think we get it here, actually. Maybe. We might. Oh my god, if you guys didn't know the landmine, please don't. We do, clearly. Oh, jeez. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Get that. Do that. Oh, is she free? I guess she didn't really take that much damage. That's fun. Let me go back out. Let me ask for some donations, and then maybe take something else. Do I have enough? I don't have enough side enough for sure, but I can at least take some of these guys here. Take 3. And then let me, actually, what do you do? Right here, request. Let me see. Who's online? Who do I pick on with this donation? Oh, she is online. Wonderful. Online, he goes by Bizarm, I think is his name. So, and they were looking at trying to make different Iron Age accounts for bags, and they're like, we need to. I was like, we should come up with like a naming scheme, like Bizarm or Baz Leg or Baz Feet or something. And I thought it was kind of funny. TMK 63 space. I got you. So, singles. on that. And wonderful. How close am I to the World War I? Oh. 56 stars, which would mean what if you war twice a week? You're what, warring twice a week, and if you do 5 stars on each attack, it would still take you like 3 weeks. That's not bad. 3 weeks worth of 5-starring if you do 2 wars a week, and you 5-star. It's not bad. It'll probably take like 2 months knowing me though. Yeah. I'm still like over the museum right now. Like I've got what I need for multiplayer, so it's like literally I just don't even bother. Like I check every now and then to see how many I'm at, but like I don't sit there and like, oh my god, 6,000 below them all on artifacts. Like I don't even care. Like it doesn't matter anymore. Not like it used to. It's an awkward song. The song is really hard. It goes in really hard. It's kind of one of those just listen to it in my own time, but probably not on stream. That song, I like that one, but I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna all get struck. So this, I think there's like 2 kinds of copyright, or 2 ways that copyright music will work. There's some of them where like, because I don't have over 1,000 subscribers, so like I'm not partnered into YouTube's like partner program. But when you do get partnered, then you have to be extremely careful about what you do and don't, I think. But as far as like anyone below that, you don't need to matter, like it doesn't matter. And then, I mean, there's other like prerequisites, like you have to have 1,000 subscribers, you have to have like over a certain amount of hours watched over like your videos for the last year or something. There's other stuff, not just that. But, so I figured, okay, so I'm not really there, so I'll just like, when I play a video on YouTube, let's say like if it's got like copyright, they'll make money off of the music, right? That I'm playing, and I guess the views or whatever they do, however that works. So that's how like, you know, artists get paid, I guess, just that way. But some certain music, like copyrights, will not let me show the video in certain countries, or period. Like I know if I play mainstream rap, like Kanye, any of that kind of stuff, like Kanye West, you know, any of those artists, it will completely shut the video down, just like 100% shut it down. So that's just one of those like hidden things that you have to kind of work with. Like, I think I tried playing Rick Ross once, and it was just, like, done. Maybach was like, nope. But, yeah, I don't know exactly all of it, how it works. I think you have to, like, rent or, like, lease their licenses for that kind of stuff, so. Anyways, this is just, like, a whole other world. They have to make money off of it, essentially. YouTube makes money for them, like to be a platform for those artists, and then the artists make money for the music they bring. So it's kind of like that. So if you're monetizing the video and you put something like that on there and they don't get a cut, then it's like that's where it gets. Something here. I'm sure I'm missing something, or this is based off my experience. What I've got. Hey, this is like Max's base. I want to try hitting this. Actually, I'm really curious. It's got the anti-airs upgrading, which is gonna make it a lot easier. Traps are pop as well. We'll do it. We're gonna go from the bottom, I think, or top actually. We can afford to do a spread drop like this. Gonna zoom in real quick. Nice little rally here. We get to take this base apart, obviously. This is not like something where I'm actually gonna be like bragging about how good of a hit this is. This is a really freebie, but I just want to see how this base layout rolls, how it works. Just so yeah, there's that. So it seems that I'm thinking right now, if everything isn't popped, it would seem that based on this guy's layout, this first section would really get us stuck. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to plane right here. That would not. This plane path would not be allowed. Yeah, he's still there. Dead. Okay. Now I'm gonna triple plane this guy here. He's not gonna spawn anytime soon, but I just don't want him to have the like the idea that he can. Yeah, he's just not like, yeah, that's fine. I like tank T-pose are nice. Okay, good stuff. 2, 3. No one's gonna get near that factory anytime soon, so I don't really need to worry about playing that right now. Because everyone's kind of focused on other stuff, but I need to get these guys off. Can I rally the yes, you can rally infantry. That's hell yeah, that's so sick. Okay. Like purposefully rally them, and it won't like tell you to rally the ground, because I've seen some rallies where like burgers, like DomiNations Burger would rally a he rallied like the ground, but there was troops on there, so like it actually, it's like the AI was told to go hit these troops. Once you kill these troops, the rally's over, and so he got really I'm sure he got frustrated with that part of his attack. But I've never intentionally tried to rally troops, so that's my first time doing that. So you can rally walls, you can rally you can rally troops. I'm wondering if you can rally generals. Probably can. Those would be like just like niche, like next level rallies, but you can kind of push it. 2100, like literally like 2 hours rating. Okay. I got stuff here. I might be able to hit this guy with everything I got, and then I might just end the stream after this. Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream after I hit this guy with everything I got. Yeah, let's try it. Dude, this back section is gonna be a pain in the ass. But I'm curious. If I fail, I fail. I'm just curious. 10k oil. I could use the oil. Okay, so I'm gonna drop these guys because they're gonna go for defensive buildings. Drop this here. Yeah, you drop 2. I can't send planes in right there. I'm gonna just send all the planes right there. What you got for SAMs, bro? Oh my god, low level SAMs. Okay, I was expecting a lot worse than that. I really was. I was expecting like the devil and his cousin kind of SAMs. Oh, so I can two-plane those towers. Interesting. That is fantastic. Means I can do this. Wow, that's fun. I can probably send 1 plane here for this guy. Oh shoot, I don't even think I needed to dump as much as I did on this base now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'm gonna double plane this guy, double plane that guy. Boom. Boom. Oh, bro, you're dead here. Yeah, I don't know if I can actually. Yeah, you're so weak. You might die here. You're going to die here. Oh, we can kill these guys here. Good stuff. Okay, now here's the next part. Here's managing the middle. Well, okay, these guys, I'm not gonna drop a heal for. Like, let them die. Like, that's the whole point. They're mercs. They're there to die. These guys, on the other hand, I'm gonna drop a heal for you guys because you guys need to make it through. These guys I'm gonna drop a heal for as well, because this heavy tank's gonna come out and I need them to be strong enough, because I'm not planing this. I cannot plane this. This is something I just can't. Like, what I'm gonna do right here, this is as far as I can plane in. This should, that's it. That's all I can do right there. Boom, done. Yeah, and they're gonna be able to kill this heavy, this factory there, or bunker there. This heavy tank, I don't know if he's part of the club or not, but I'm okay losing a heavy tank on this attack, actually. Gotta kill these guys here, though. Okay, rally this. Good stuff. Okay, and then once they start killing that, okay, I can actually plant these guys because the castle over there is destroyed. There's gonna be what? Is there a? Okay, we lost a heavy tank, like I said. We might lose the second one too. Who knows? It'll be fine. It's so fun. I like this. I feel satisfied taking this out. Oh, that base. Wait, oh, come on, what are we missing? Okay, we got this. We got your needs done. Alright, that's it. That's all we got. So, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys sometime later. Watch the dev stream on Twitch. Not like my like I stream it for people who couldn't watch it, but watch it, like, go back and watch their stream at twitch.tv/NexonMobile, and you can go watch their streams, their dev stream. They'll also have it on their YouTube account, which I don't know what their YouTube account was. I would assume Nexon Mobile as well, or maybe it's under the like Nexon. I don't know. Anyways, but I'm sure someone can figure it out. But yeah, go watch that. Get some thoughts, opinions about it. I'm not really sure what to think yet, so there's that. 18 hours. I'll probably log off for the day. I'm at 147. I got 20 hours to get 200k for this guy, which is actually going to get decreased in 7 hours by probably another 6 hours. So realistically, maybe 7 hours, 6, 13. So I'm gonna have what? 13, what, 7 hours from now? Yeah, about 7 hours from now to get this guy done. So, I actually should probably raid a little bit. I should probably drop medals and raid. Yeah. Yep, here we go. Let's do sharing it. Fun attacks. What? That's strange. Not the first occurrence, but it's strange it happens now. Watch me not have posted that, and then watch me not be able to share it again. Yep. Go figure. Go actually figure. Okay, well,